welcome back, everyone here to Bronx Talks. Back here with another episode. And Christian, last night in the All Star game, I mean, what a show that was. What were your
Was.
thoughts on it? You have a good time watching the All Star game? And Christian, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well, Ryan. Thank you. I look. I was. I like MLB's idea. I'm a fan of the whole thing. Like, it's a cool idea. Although I gotta be honest, Ryan, it was just weird. Like I know Judge, Cal Raleigh, they're already gone. They already played, but you can't have a swing off without having Aaron. I mean, who was the guy from the Rays? It kind of
Jack,
just ruined the whole thing. But it was a cool idea. It's better than a tie. What'd you think?
yeah, no. I mean, look, I think on the National League side, you had two of their main guys, right? You would have wanted to have probably Schwarber and Alonso in there. You would have liked to see Otani in it as well. But for the American League to have, Brent Rooker, guy's a phenomenal player, but
Brent Rooker, I'm
he's
fine with because he was in the home run derby.
uh
And
but
Schwarber, I thought was also like when he came to the plate, it was like, oh, here we go, like this is cool. But other than and Pete, I guess if he came up too. But other than that, it was weird. It was like cringy. I don't know. I didn't like it.
I heard a lot of people complaining on Twitter about, Aaron Boone making those selections there last night.
Yeah.
People were getting on Boone. I saw one guy even tweet out, and he was like, "It's crazy that people are getting on Boone for how he managed the All Star game." And I was like, "Dude, like it's all satire. No one
Yeah.
should actually be upset. It's literally like if anyone's actually upset about how Boone managed the All Star game, I'm sorry, you need to get your head checked because first of all, he's not even he's managing it technically, but there's teams that have certain requests. They don't want their guy going long. This player say, hey, I don't want to throw these many pitches. Like Aaron Boone has to accommodate for the other, 14 clubs that are with him on his team. So, it's crazy, but it was kind of funny seeing some of those memes and stuff like that. There was a little bit of a scare during the game. The MLB should make a rule banning all AL Central teams from participating. But we have
Okay.
this guy in the White Sox come out with a 4.50 ERA, drilling Eugenio Suarez in the hand, and we'll touch on Eugenio Suarez later on and trade rumors and all that. And Eugenio Suarez got X-rays, and Christian Eugenio Suarez was actually supposed to replace Kyle Stowers, or he was gonna. Kyle Stowers replaced Eugenio Suarez in the swing
Oh,
off, but
really? I
Suarez
didn't.
was gonna.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Suarez was gonna be in the swing off, but didn't happen because he was getting X-rays on his finger. But
What's the word
yeah,
on it?
I
Is
mean
he
that's the.
fine?
Yeah,
Did
he's
anything?
fine, no
I
problems.
mean, he stayed in the game after it, so it wasn't.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just. I remember 2013 Robinson Cano got I think hit by a pitch in the All Star game when that All Star game was at City Field, and that was ridiculous. But look, that's why we saw that kid from the Brewers pitch in the game, right, Christian? And there's 12 pitchers in the National League that didn't pitch, right? Because guys don't want an exhibition game. It used to be the All Star game would decide who had home field in the World Series. Not like that anymore. I think they got rid of that in 2017. So it's an exhibition game, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
I was texting you this last night, but it's not just Major League Baseball; it's all sports, right? Like the NBA is probably going to get rid of their All Star game. They've changed the rules like 15 times. The NFL got rid of the Pro Bowl. Now they do like a skills contest, and the NHL changed from the All Star game and made it like their own version of the WBC, call it the Four Nations Face Off. You don't see Pete Rose sliding in head first in the All Star game anymore. You don't see Sean Taylor in the Pro Bowl laying that punter out. Like it's just kind of the culture of where we're at. No one wants to try in those All Star games, and it does kind of stink because those are the best players. But there's an obligation, especially with the money that's getting handed out nowadays. You don't want to get these guys hurt. But
Yeah,
that's
but I mean,
enough
I
rambling
think
from me.
that's fine. That's why the thing that I don't understand, because like I agree with you. That, I mean, it's just kind of a culture shift. Like people aren't going all out in these exhibition games. I'm fine with that. That's why I don't understand why they do what they do with the home run derby. Just go back to like what 10 swings. Like wasn't that so much more
10,
entertaining
10
watching the
outs.
swing off or 10 outs? Yeah. I thought it was so much more fun to watch uh those guys trying to hit home runs where it was like every pitch matters and you don't have guys up at the plate like gassed having to use timeouts. You just go up there and see how many you can hit until you get out. I think that's a lot more fun. That's why I almost find it weird cuz the home run derby seems like the one thing that they have where guys are taking it like actually serious. I know we had Pete all these years, not this year, where it's
Yeah.
his World Series and guys are literally like sweating after it. So
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I was not a fan of the home run derby this year. I thought that was just, and every year they change the rules, so you never know what's going on. It's so hard to get into. I think they've done a really poor job with that. I'll say that.
Yeah. I don't know why
And
they
nice
went to the
job,
time
Jazz.
for. What's up?
I said nice job, Jazz.
We had money on Jazz, but is what it is. Wanted to go out there and have a good time. I'm not hating on Jazz. I don't I
Yeah, I
don't
could
really
care
care.
less.
Yeah. People are losing their minds over that. I mean, like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? Like if who cares? He hit three home. Who cares? Home run derby.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know why they added the time format. I don't know if that was to I guess speed things up in the derby, because it's your premier event. You want to get all eyeballs on it and you want it to be a very efficient time. But if you want to make the derby go longer, okay, make it 13 outs instead of 10, but like the other format. Or you want to speed it up, do 7 outs instead of 10. Like I like the out format way better than the timing. And you can mess around with how many outs you want to give. In the final round, you want to make it like 15, like whatever you want to
You don't even
do.
need 5 outs is perfect. It doesn't need to be this whole thing. Just and it shouldn't be a stamina thing. It should just be big power guys hitting the ball really far, and it should be entertaining like that. I
Yeah.
don't understand it.
Yeah. I don't know. But all in all, I think it was a good All-Star game. Having the American League came back down 6-0, tied up. It was a lot of fun. We got to get the All-Star game back in the Bronx. They don't have one for 2027. Next year will be in Philadelphia. So hopefully get the All-Star game back in the Bronx, have Judge do the Derby, boost some players on the Rays and the Red Sox. It was awesome to see the guys wearing their home jerseys or the jerseys of their team yesterday instead of that garbage, American League and National League owned jersey. That was stupid. MLB tried to do it as a marketing ploy to sell jerseys. It's stupid. Stupid. It was last year. The All Star Game jerseys were just downright dreadful. We have the American League coming out with tan, neon pink, and neon blue. Like those colors somehow work. It was disgusting. But give MLB credit, they went back their ways. But Christian, let's talk what the title is. Let's talk some Yankees trade deadline.
Okay, let's do it.
I was handed it off to you there.
All right, let's start with Eugenio Suarez, biggest name right now. The guy everyone's talking about. Looks to be the Yankees' best third base option. Ryan, do you think it will be possible to acquire him without trading one of George Lombard, Spencer Jones, or Cam Schlittler?
Yeah, I think it will be possible. Max Goodman came out with a report that the Diamondbacks were asking for a Schlittler and a Spencer Jones in a return for Suarez. Lombard is not getting dealt for Suarez. I don't think the only two players I'd see the Yankees dealing Lombard to would be Paul Skeens or Jose Ramirez. Lombard's not getting traded.
Yeah.
When it comes to Jones, he's interesting. You touched on it yesterday. Sell when he's high. I think the Yankees be intrigued to do that if they find the right deal. For Suarez, if you're asking me, and you're like, I'm the GM, I'm not trading Spencer Jones for 3 months, 4 months of Eugenio Suarez. He's a rental. I'm just not doing. Are the Yankees going to want to re-sign Suarez and dish out money to him? I mean, he's in his 30s. I don't know if the Yankees want to do that. I'm not giving up Jones for Eugenio Suarez. I'm not giving up Schlittler for Eugenio Suarez. But I don't know if that was like, maybe that report was the Diamondbacks trying to test the waters, maybe getting other teams to overpay or something like that. But I think, to be honest with you, Christian, it'd be silly to trade Schlittler or Jones for Eugenio Suarez. But I do think the Yankees can get that deal done without trading, Schlittler or Jones to bring him in. I certainly think he's the best option for the Yankees, and probably the best player this deadline they could go out and get.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Jones. To kind of explain it more, what I was saying is like, no, we're not actively looking to trade away Spencer Jones. I mean, the guy's tearing it up. Would I love to see him next year in pinstripes and see what he could do? Yes. Although I think you also have to kind of be realistic and like, yeah, these guys are prospects, and when is Spencer Jones's value ever going to get higher? I mean, he is the closest to playing Major League Baseball, and he is tearing it up. So no, you're not going to go out. I like the Baez example that you used when the Mets traded PCA for him, for Javier Baez. Like, yeah, it'll never be worth it for a rental. Although, Ryan, look, if you're going out and getting a guy like Chris Bubic, who has control next year, who's having a phenomenal season, I believe he had to have been hurt, right? Or is he
so.
just? Oh, he's made 18 starts. Maybe not. I don't know. It's weird. He's not qualified though for any of the Baseball Savant metrics, but a 2.48 ERA. He has control next year. He's kind of the guy, and I mentioned him yesterday, that I'm looking at. I think the one really critique you could have on it is the three lefties in the rotation, but
Yeah,
I don't think it matters, to be honest. I feel like maybe there would be some advantages, but also there would be disadvantages. Like, some lineups hit lefties better, some don't.
yeah.
I think it would kind of just like even out. So I don't think it would ever really kill us in the postseason. And Yanks do need a starter really badly, as we were texting about a lot yesterday.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think they do need a starter. And me and Christian were getting into it, last night. And Christian was saying to me, guys, he was saying, everyone's talking about third base, but I think the Yankees, starting rotation should be at the top of their board. And I was saying, yeah, like I think the Yankees need a third base more, but they definitely do need a starter. The thing with this deadline that could be a problem for the Yankees is, let's just be honest. I think they have a lot of holes that need to be filled. And this deadline, there's not a lot of great players available. I don't know if they could fill all these holes. And Michael Kay brought it up a few days ago. He said the Yankees, they need two relievers, a starting pitcher, and a third baseman. I have to agree with him. I think the biggest need is probably bullpen. You look at that bullpen, it's really concerning out there. I think you need two arms in there. You look at third base. I don't think you could roll with Anthony Volpe struggling so much as he is. I don't think you could roll with Oswald Peraza in a lineup and have, 8 be Anthony Volpe and then 9 be Oswald Peraza. I mean, those are two automatic outs. I don't think you could have that in your lineup. So look, you need to upgrade there at third base and starting rotation. And look, you got Max Fried game 1, you got Carlo game 2. You got some guys coming back, but they don't really have a legitimate 3. I think you do need a starter because what if another injury happens? You want to throw Will Warren out there? When Yarbrough comes back, are you throwing Yarbrough out there? Is Cam Schlittler going to find a start? Like, that's a toss up there. So you certainly need a starter, but I am concerned about that when it comes to the Yankees. But then again, we heard Brian Cashman say a few days ago, or last week, I should say, we're all in. So we'll see if that stands to be true. But I do think the Yankees have a lot of holes to fill. You touched on Bubic as a possible name they could bring in the rotation. He would certainly be a good guy to add. Has control through next year, unrestricted free agent 2027, is only making $3 million this year. So
Probably going to need a
he would certainly
Jones
be a name.
in that trade, though. Or someone,
You would
Jones or Schlittler, someone to get Bubic. Because, I mean, full control next year. He's barely making money. Like, yeah. And he's very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan, I guess the point that I was making yesterday, and like I don't get why everyone's really talking about third base. Like, yes, it's a hole. Oswald Peraza is playing, but I would much rather the Yankees go out and get a starting pitcher. Just because, Ryan, this is the best the lineup's really been in a while. You know who leads baseball in on-base percentage? The Yankees. You know who leads baseball in slugging percentage? The Yankees. Their offense is at the top of baseball. And, everyone gets caught up on bringing Eugenio Suarez in. Well, he also brings some pretty bad defense in. So look, he's a slugger. Would he help the team? Yes. But I just think the starting pitching then when I look at, and okay, yeah, we have Max Fried, we have Carlos Rodon. I'm not even going to think about if one of those guys goes down with an injury. I'm just assuming they're good. Because if they go down, if one of them goes down, all hell breaks loose. We need two other guys to pitch in the postseason, Ryan. And Will Warren, it can't happen this year. Maybe, look, he's showed some promise, but the whole Dodger start kind of threw that out of the bag for me. He can't start a postseason game. I feel like we all know how that's going to go. Marcus Stroman is essentially eating innings at this point. And then I would put Luis Gil and Cam Schlittler in the same category as like, okay, well, they have upside. And I think you can rely on one of them being good enough, and we'll see which one that is as the season progresses to start a postseason game. You still need another starter. I know you have Ryan Yarbrough. Again, that's kind of another one that I would put like, do you really trust him to start a postseason game? And if he does, he's not going far. So then you're relying on your already somewhat weak bullpen. I think you really need to go out and get a quality pitcher. And I know you can't have an ace starting every game in the playoffs. Like, I'm not oblivious, but you need someone that you can feel confidently throw out in the postseason that is going to get you through 5 innings and give you a good start. They don't have that really right now besides Rodon and Fried.
Yeah, they don't. And the thing, like I touched on before, they might not be able to fill these holes that they have. I mean, look, like the Royals trading Bubic is not like a guarantee. Like, the Royals may not deal him because he's all next year. And the Royals made the playoffs last year. And, the Yankees might not want to end up dealing Jones or someone like that to get and bring him in. There's not many starting pitchers available that I think would significantly upgrade this team. You could bring in Zach Gallen. I'm kind of a fan of a Zach Gallen, Eugenio Suarez combo deal, or, Eugenio Suarez, Merrill Kelly deal where the Yankees could bring in those two guys. But, with that being said, Zach Gallen's not having a good year, right? I mean, he showed promise before, but he's not having a good year. So he would just be grouped in that same category, Christian, of the Heel, Schlittler, Yarbrough, right? So I just don't know who's out there. I really got to be honest.
Boy.
I think this. What?
Well, I do have a name when you're ready.
I don't know who's out there. We touched Chris Sale was definitely a name. We had him in the targets video, but the Braves GM said they're not trading him. I heard some stuff, this weekend. People are giving like mock trades. Who knows? Maybe the Braves do deal him, and I would absolutely love Chris Sale. I am kind of concerned about the three lefties in the rotation. Christian, you say you're not. I kind of am, but you got a chance to bring in Chris Sale. I think you got to put that aside. But I don't know. I think it's a very weak trade deadline class because of the expanded playoffs. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I would definitely like a Suarez, Zach Allen, Merrill Kelly type bolster deal because I do think that the Yankees could fill multiple holes doing that one trade there.
Would you be totally out on Sonny Gray?
I think so.
Yeah, I also agree. He's having a pretty good season. And like his stat line, what he would bring, 35-year-old, he's posted 3.5 ERA, solid metrics, is like the exact pitcher that I think we need to bring in. Doesn't have to be amazing, but just someone consistent. But I don't think you can do. I mean, it would be like making the same mistake twice.
Yeah. I was thinking about when the Red Sox were bad. I was like, man, too bad Aroldis Chapman wasn't, such a head case with the Yankees because he'd be perfect for that Yankees bullpen.
Yeah.
But, that gets me on the Red Sox. People got to realize Yankees and the Red Sox got the same amount of wins. And the Red Sox have ran it on the Yankees all year. When the Yankees played, what did the Yankees get to the Red Sox this year? 1-4, 1-5. Like the Yankees haven't been able to beat the Red Sox this year, and the Red Sox got the same amount of wins. The Red Sox are going to be aggressive at this deadline. Christian, I am telling you, this team hasn't made the playoffs since 2021. The fan base has been heavily critical on ownership and the people in the front office. They're hungry, and the front office is going to want to do big things. Not just the Red Sox. I think the AL East as a whole. I don't see the Rays making a giant move, right? Because they're the Rays. But I think Toronto's going to be really aggressive. They're in first place right now. So, like, the Yankees got to be aggressive as well. And gets me back here to the Red Sox. The Red Sox are going to be in the market for a high-end starting pitcher. That's what everyone's saying. Jeff Passan said the Red Sox are a big-time starter away from being a World Series contender. I've heard multiple people say that. So,
well, I don't know about that one.
I don't know. I mean, the Red Sox been playing good ball all year, so who knows? But I think the Yankees got to be aggressive. Maybe they try to swipe a starter from Boston. We kind of saw that in 2021, Christian. Remember when all the rumors leading up was like Anthony Rizzo would be a perfect fit for the Red Sox. Perfect fit for the Red Sox. Perfect fit for the Red Sox. We weren't hearing anything on the Yankees because Yankees had Luke Voit, and boom, Cashman goes out, brings in Anthony Rizzo. Maybe the Yankees poach a player from the Red Sox like that. And don't be surprised, Christian. This deadline is really up in the air. There's not many players that we know that are definitely going to be traded. So be on the lookout for a Brian Cashman surprise move that we're like, oh my God, this guy's a Yankee now? Like, we would have never thought. I think a move like that could very well happen.
Yeah, I really want to snipe it this year, too. Maybe we'll find some guys during our 6-hour stream on the trade deadline day. That random, like if we found Mark Leiter before he was traded to the Yankees. You know how cool that would be?
Yeah.
I do have another name, but his name is Seth Lugo.
Okay.
Now, a 2.67 ERA on the season, 101 innings pitched. If you look at his baseball savant page, it is ugly. Let me see if I can pull it up, actually.
No problem.
Okay. It's ugly. But also at the same time, this guy posted a 3 ERA in 206 innings last year. You can see his metrics weren't that much better. And then a 3.57 ERA in 2023. Again, pretty shitty metrics. So maybe this guy is just like the fluke in the system, and we should take a shot.
Yeah, pitched in New York too with the Mets.
Also, Ryan, take a look at that pitch mix. That is 9 pitches that you're looking at. That is absurd.
35 years old, making a lot of money though. It's got a player
How,
option
how
for
much? How
next
much money
year.
is he making?
15 million this season. He has a player option next year for 15 million, which I'd assume given 35, he'll probably, I don't know, he might opt out of that, but unrestricted free agent in 2027. Yeah,
I would
I
be
mean,
really
look,
interested to hear what the Royals are asking for him and how much they value him. Because if it's not that crazy, like if they understand that, you know, the metrics are concerning, and the Yankees swoop in, it could work. It could work.
yeah, yeah, certainly. The Royals got a lot of players. Miguel Garcia too. I don't know if you bring him in because he kind of ran his mouth with the Yankees and the whole Volpe thing last year.
Yeah, I don't know
So
about
I don't know if I'm bringing in a locker room cancer like that, but I think he'd be a good fit. Like, Royals got some players that I think would be good fits for the Yankees. But Christian,
Oh my
you know
God! Wait, Mal,
what?
he's a third baseman too.
Garcia?
I think we might just have to bite the bullet. Yeah,
Go out, get Miguel Garcia.
he really solid defense.
Can he bunt?
I mean, this is his first big year, but I mean, metrics back up that he's been good. Volpe can teach him how to bunt.
Christian, isn't it pretty crazy? I'm not even joking. Like, honestly, like if when I'm looking at players this trade deadline for the Yankees to bring in, I'm literally like looking if they can bunt. Like that's how bad. Like that's how bad I think the Yankees need someone who could bunt. I mean, like
Yeah, but
honestly,
I think that's universal in baseball. I just don't think it really gets taught anymore. There was I don't know who was talking about this, but it was pretty like interesting to hear and so true. Think about it, all these guys, like when would they ever bunt? They were the best players always on their club teams. They were always the best of the best, and your best players don't bunt. So I mean, even in the minors, a lot of these major league guys were like still the better players in the lineup. So it just they never do it.
Well, Boone had a comment that didn't make. Boone said something like that, which I totally disagreed with.
I think he might have
Boone
said that on Talking Yanks.
Yeah, I think that's stupid because then literally no one in the history of the sport would ever have known how to bunt. Like there would never.
No. There's been a culture shift though. I mean, like if you were playing travel ball in the 80s, you're bunting. It doesn't matter if you're the 3-hitter.
Yeah, but I mean, look how bad the Yankees have been situation. Like, I'm sorry. Oswald Peraza needs to know how to bunt. I mean, if you like, there's some guys that need to know how to bunt. Oswald Peraza needs to know how to bunt. There's no doubt about it. He needs to learn how to bunt. He should have been bunting during the All-Star break, honestly, because you can't hit. You play really good defense, dude. Bunting is in the job description. Learn how to bunt. Anthony Volpe is, I think, a decent, but I don't know. There's just, yeah. I mean, you are right. There is a culture shift, but I do think his quote, what he said, doesn't make sense because then literally no one would ever have known how to bunt. I don't know. I mean, especially
it should be getting taught though. Like but I mean, I think they do practice it. So I don't know really what's the. I don't know what the fix is, but also there is a difference between taking 3 bunts at the beginning of batting practice, and basically just warming up your eyes, tracking the pitches, and like legitimately practicing bunting to targets, even on live pitching. So okay, I know they practice it, but there's levels to practicing.
But like, shouldn't like the Yankees see? They know like the type of player Oswald Peraza is on their roster right now. They know how he fits. Shouldn't the Yankees be trying to teach Oswald Peraza? I don't know if they are, so I'm not trying to critique them. But shouldn't the Yankees be trying to teach Oswald Peraza how to bunt?
I think they are, but I mean, like, he could be getting taught how to bunt the entire year, and maybe he'll get thrown in 3 bunt situations, and if he capitalizes on 1 out of 3, we're gonna criticize him. So I who knows Who knows how good of a bunter he is? Who knows if he can bunt? I don't even think we have access to that information.
Christian, the analytic guys are going to hate me on this right now, what I'm about to say. I'm about to come out with a brand new merch line, and my first t-shirt is going to be "Bring Back Bunting" with a period. That's my new merch. I'm wearing it. I'm going to wear it to Yankee Stadium, and they won't let me in. Aaron Boone, Mike Fishman, and Brian Cashman will see me outside the stadium, and they will tell me to look the other way. Bring back bunting 2025. But Christian, let's talk about the Yankees bullpen, right? Look, I think the bullpen is definitely where the Yankees need to upgrade the most. Luke Weaver's had some big time struggles. Devin Williams has straightened it out since his rough months, but you don't know what you're going to get out of, I guess, ultimately out of him. I don't know if you have complete faith with him. Mark Leiter Jr., wheels have fallen off. He got injured. Jonathan Loaizica, I mean, just been brutal for him, giving up home runs left and right. They lack a lot of high velo guys in the bullpen. I mean, really, the last month, the players the Yankees were rolling out in the bullpen was hysterical. I mean, it was Joff Hartlib. Joff Hartlib was pitched like the Yankees really, really need to upgrade their bullpen. And Christian, the number one guy, I think you agree with this too, but the
Okay.
number one guy I want the Yankees to bring in this deadline when it comes to the bullpen is former Yankee Dennis Santana. He's under control through this year, next year, 3-2 on the year, 1.56 ERA, and his metrics are just incredible. I think he's making 1.4 million. He's from the Pirates, high velo. I love a lot of the Pirates relievers. I like Bednar a lot. Caleb Ferguson, I wouldn't totally be opposed to bring back. Yeah, I like a lot of the Pirates relievers, and Santana's at the top of my list.
I like Santana a lot. Yeah. Another name that I know we had him in our first video, and I'm still kind of like caught up on if the Orioles would do Felix Bautista. I mean, I obviously they're not in it this year. I guess my question is, forget the division thing. I don't think Orioles really care that much about trading to the Yankees. I think
believe in the Yankee tax.
Maybe with like the Red Sox, but I don't. If the Yankees gave the best offer to the Orioles, I don't think they're charging anything extra. I'll say that. I think the more of the question is, what's the Orioles' plan? Are they trying to win next year? Because Bautista is under control for at least another 2 years, so I think he's a free agent then in 2027 or 2028 even maybe. So I don't know exactly what the Orioles' direction is because they've done a horrendous job. But if they are like scrapping and going, okay, wait, we need to reset again and give ourselves another 2 years to really get back in it, then Bautista could be out the door and into the Yankees' hands, and he's legit, Ryan. Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna do that though, and I honestly don't think they really will.
No, I mean, you get someone like him, a Bautista. I mean, he has such a unique skill set. I mean, he throws exceptionally hard. I don't know if you want to deal a guy like that, right? I think he's old, right? He's kind of 31, came on late.
He's 30 years old.
Yeah, so one of those guys came out late. Like he's entering his prime. I don't know if the Orioles would trade him. Look, if they are, I'd certainly be all over him. But yeah, I mean, I think he'd be a solid fit for the Yankees for sure. Christian, another reliever we touched on that I think would be a really good fit for the Yankees. He's a free agent after this year, so he'd be a rental. Is left-hander Gregory Soto. He's also 30 years old from the Orioles. I think he'd be a really good fit. His metrics solid. Like he throws hard. I think the Yankees could use that. He's a sinker baller, throws his sinker 53% of the time, has a slider he throws 34% of the time. I think he would fit in there nicely because, look, you have Tim Hill, who's like your lefty guy in the bullpen, who I think the Yankees should give a little bit more leeway to, just because he's been so effective. But, you add in another left-hander in there, you could really balance out that bullpen, especially if you make another move for a reliever. I think Gregory Soto would be a good fit for the Yankees. What do you think about that?
Yeah, not sold on this one. I don't think it really moves the needle, and like, yeah, I honestly think they need someone better than him. To be honest, yeah, yes, he's a quality reliever, but I don't think he's anything special. Uh, I guess his velo's somewhat high. I don't know, and we already have Tim Hill for as our lefty specialist, and we also have so many like reverse split guys. I mean, Leiter, Devin Williams. I don't know if we need another lefty, to be honest, Ryan. How about Ryan? What is it? Hesley?
Yeah, I think so.
Did we have him in part 3?
We did. We did.
Okay, yeah, I'm pulling up his right now. This is one that I don't know if this would be like our big move. If you say you were to go out and get an Eugenio Suarez and a quality starting pitcher, like you're already going to trade a bunch of prospects. Then maybe you can go out and get a guy like this because he's not anything out of this world. I mean, he's just a solid high velo relief pitcher. But but I think if you were like focusing solely on the bullpen, I don't know if he would move the needle too. But I do think it could be like a solid pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with him is the velo, right? 90, what is it, 99 percentile in fastball velo. Like that's why you go in and bring him in. 2.70 ERA. Yeah, I would love him. Especially since the Yankees don't have like anyone on the staff who could throw hard. Just getting a different look would be so beneficial for the Yankees. And look, I know the Yankees could get by this season, I think, with not having guys that throw high velo. But when you get in a playoff series and you're facing a team 5, 6, some maybe even 7 games, like you want to have different looks in there. And Helsley would give you a different look out of the Yankees bullpen. I think he'd be a really good fit. Certainly interesting to see what the Cardinals do. I think he's a free agent after this year.
I'm pretty sure too. Also, the thing with
Yeah.
velo is like, and you'd think the Yankees would be actually targeting someone with high velo because they already have this philosophy with other things. With how much you play the matchups now in modern days, all right, this guy can't hit lefties or this guy can't hit sinker ballers. There is a lot of big league hitters probably that struggle with higher velo. Wouldn't you think the Yankees would want to have a weapon out of their bullpen? So if they have, all right, 2 out of 3 guys coming up that typically can't hit harder pitching, perfect lane for Ryan Helsley. And then you just have another guy, another weapon with a different skill set. I think it makes your bullpen so much better. And I also don't think he would be wildly expensive because, free agent next year, relief pitcher. I think you can get that for without having to do a Jones or any of those guys. So
Yeah,
I like it.
What if you're facing, let's say you're facing like a Tim Hill, right? And he's giving you everything in the kitchen sink, and you're just like, oh, that's moving, but they're coming in slow. Next day B, later in the game, you're facing Helsley, he's blown it by. Like that's where it comes in, the different looks. I think it is a bit concerning when you have guys all one sided. I think the Yankees should try to bring in a different look. Dennis Santana, we touched on before. He does that. Christian, another guy I'm intrigued, and he's been on the Yankees radar, I think, since 2022. Christian, I remember when we were like little teenagers talking about David Bednar, but here we are again talking about David Bednar. He's having another solid year for the Pirates. 2-5 record, who cares? 2.53 ERA, 45 strikeouts and 32 innings pitched, 13 saves on the year. Look, let's get Bednar in some primetime games. 30 years old. What do you think about bringing in David Bednar?
Yeah, this is one of those where, know I've said this multiple times, but this is a move the needle type move, Ryan. This is one of those guys you bring in and your bullpen is immediately that much better because he is going to slot in as one of the high end guys right away, and then everyone just moves down a little bit. So now Tim Hill, uh, instead of being our seventh inning guy or whatever, okay, well now he's our sixth inning guy. Or now we don't even need to use him. He's kind of just like a safety net if we get into trouble and a lefty comes up. So I'm a huge fan of this. I mean, you can group him in right in with Weaver and Williams. I don't know if they would do a three-way closer by committee, but it would be this would be a really, really good move. When is he a free agent?
I think after this year, I'll double check right now.
Well, I mean that would be perfect.
Christian, the Pirates have a lot of relievers, and I made a post on another guy the other day. He's not a high velo guy, but I made a post
Yeah,
on
David
possibly
Bednar's a free agent. Or no. We have next year too. Ooh, this makes him that more expensive. But.
Wait, Bednar's under control next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bednar's under. He's making 5.9 this year. Is under control. Yeah, Christian, I made a post on this guy. Everyone said no. But, this just goes like, even when it doesn't work out with the Yankees, like when you think of Dennis Santana and Caleb Ferguson, the Yankees still saw something for him, and it's working out elsewhere. Caleb Ferguson was terrible last year. The Yankees traded him at the deadline to the Astros. You look at his metrics, bro. Look, I don't know. I don't know. Like, maybe. Yeah, like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, are we seriously going to do that and trade for Caleb Ferguson?
We're not, because, again, same thing. Whatever. Yankees already had him, and he wasn't doing this. So, yeah, he probably found something. Or maybe even the Yankees helped him find something and sent him off. But, like, I don't know. And it also goes back to the whole, I don't know if you need another lefty or a guy who gets lefties out.
Christian,
it is, Ryan, it is attractive, but I'd rather a Bednar or David Santana. I'll say that.
Dennis. So, Christian, you can't botch our new guy's name.
What did I say?
David. You call him up there. It's okay.
No. Yeah. David Bednar.
And Dennis Santana.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, okay. I misspoke. I mixed them up, but.
No, you're good. I'm just kidding. Christian, why don't we do a trade that breaks baseball? Who's the Pirates GM? I got to look him up real quick.
Oh, you're asking me to go to Paul Skeen's baseball swamp pitch?
No, I'm not. Don Kelly, Pirates GM. Hey, Don, how you doing? Yeah, this is Baldy here, Cashman. And I'm just calling to tell you, we're going to do something crazy. I want 3 of your best relievers. Give me a Bednar, a Santana, and a Ferguson. I want them all on one deal. All right, thanks. That's not going to happen. I wouldn't mind, though, maybe poaching a Bednar Santana deal. Yeah, we could have them pose back to back like this. Bring Dude, imagine we brought in Bednar and Santana. I feel like that bullpen just is like totally different because we could literally have Dennis Santana, like Tim Hill. Like we could have Tim Hill, Dennis Santana, Luke Weaver, Bednar, Willie. Like we could have just an unreal bullpen. Like I feel like that would significantly help things. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees and Pirates made a trade, Christian, because the Yankees and the Pirates make a trade every single year. Like, it's like a rule. They have to make a trade. They have great relations there. I mean, the Yankees and Pirates have made 1,000 trades, I think, in the last 10 years. So I could very well see the Yankees getting a Bednar or getting Dennis Santana. I mean, look, Cashman wants to show he's always right. You bring in Dennis Santana, say, hey, guys, I know he has 6.26 ERA with us last year, but this is why I got him originally. Boom. I don't know. I like it. I love a lot of the Pirates relievers. And Christian and anyone here in Bronx Talks, if you want to Venmo me, whatever you can, I'll make a trip up to PNC Park there in Pittsburgh, and I will scout. I will scout out and come back with a full report.
I will not be funding that. But I do wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
And we could just throw in Paul Skeens too, right? I mean, he's just an extra
Yeah,
guy.
just a little bit,
You
Wow.
know, the
I mean,
Pirates could
Paul
actually
Skeens.
solve all of our problems if hypothetically, in some alternate universe, a Paul Skeens, we have the best rotation in baseball. We bring in Ferguson, Santana, Bednar. We have the best bullpen in baseball. We already have the best offense in baseball.
I mean, yeah, if Brian Hayes could hit too,
Just
you
empty
bring
out
him in
every
there.
single our top 20 prospects. Let's make it happen.
Dude, if the Yankees were traded for Paul Skeens, it'd be like Jason Dominguez, Ben Rice, Lombard, Jones, and a Schlittler. Like that, like if not more. Like that's what it would cost you.
No, if it was like if it was like a few years ago, it would be, oh, we just have to give up Clint and Duhar, and then maybe throw in like a double A guy. They were our trade
Yeah,
pieces.
Yankees are not getting Paul Skeens, at least not via trade.
Hey,
Maybe in
don't
free
say
agent.
never. Don't say never.
I don't know. Cashman should have traded for Cole in 19.
Yeah.
Didn't want to give up Andrew or Clint.
I will say no matter what does happen this season, and I'm not making an excuse for the trade deadline or if we don't win the World Series. I'm not making an excuse. Like obviously we want to win. I don't think you can really get on Cashman too much though. I mean, unless he totally shits the bed this trade deadline. The fact that we're in the Yankees are in the position right now and we are like a trade or two away from being, I mean, we are one of the top World Series contenders right now. Without
Yeah.
Cole and Clark Schmidt, it is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The lineup right now is one of the best we've seen in a while. So even though we get on Volpe and it's annoying to see Peraza playing this much, we did pretty good. I mean, Bellinger,
Christian,
Goldschmidt, all around.
No, Christian, I would agree with you. Look, I'm not the biggest Cashman supporter. I'm not the biggest Cashman fan, but I'll be the first to tell you. I told you this. I believe I said it before on the podcast. What Brian Cashman did this offseason with his plan B and what he did after not signing Juan Soto, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. You can't give Brian Cashman enough credit for what he's done this offseason. I mean, bringing in Cody Bellinger, who should have been an all-star, and trading away Cody Petit to bring him in. Devin Williams, hasn't been ultimately what the Yankees had envisioned, although he straightened it out, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But bringing in Devin Williams for Durbin and Cortez, like Devin Williams had a career 1.83 ERA. Like he was the move. Like that was incredible. And Max Fried is he's a Cy Young candidate this year. If you don't have him, if you want to put scuba all over him, Fried's right there, number 2. Like what Cashman has done this offseason has been absolutely fantastic. You can't give him enough credit for as much as you want to dog on his moves in previous years. I give Cashman an A++ for what he's done this offseason. But, we got the trade deadline coming up, so I'm ready to give him another grade for that. and I'm like the mean teacher.
The only reason I brought that up was just because I was thinking the other day about if this team did have Garrett Cole, and even still, I mean, forget about Schmidt. If we just had Garrett Cole, I mean, we would be unstoppable. You know how excited we would be about that playoff rotation, because the fourth guy, we can just find whoever's hot. Who cares? Whoever's pitching well in September, you can take that 4 spot. But I mean, that 1, 2, 3 punch would be 3 all-stars. It would be crazy. But injuries are a part of baseball. I mean, look at the Dodgers. It's about how you adapt, and that's why we need to acquire a lesser version of Garrett Cole this trade deadline.
That might be Cam Schlittler. He looks just like Cole.
I know. I'm really excited. When does he pitch next?
Probably. I mean, he probably won't pitch against the Braves because the Yankees will reset their rotation here. But interesting to see who comes out there. I wonder if the Yankees push back Fried just to let that blister heal 100% because blisters in baseball they can be a nagging issue. If the Yankees want to do that, I would have no problem with that. The Yankees want to bench Trent Grisham all 3 games this series. I wouldn't have a problem with that because he's nursing that hamstring back to health. And, in the outfield, the last couple of series just hasn't looked himself. So the Yankees got to rest up Fried and Grisham. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even play Grisham these 3 games. And Fried, did the Yankees put him at the last spot in the rotation with that blister? You can't have that be a nagging issue in the second half. Like that
Yeah.
can't happen. Yeah. So, maybe you want to take your time with that, not have Fried open up out of the All-Star game. You let him take the series off. You put him in that 4th or 5th spot in that rotation because you don't want that to be an issue here down the stretch. And I do think Fried was getting a little tired his last few starts, so that's good for him to get that rest. But look, we got the line is very approaching very quickly. We're going to be live from like 1 to 6 o'clock. We got a bunch of guests lined up, so stay tuned for that on trade deadline day. Kristen, is there anything else on the trade deadline? Anything else you got on the Yanks?
Well, there always will be more stuff I have, but I think we covered a lot today. Um, I guess if you were to right now pull the trigger, one move, would it be Eugenio Suarez or someone else? Actually, I'll give you 2 moves.
I'm ready.
Oh, I was asking you.
Two moves that I would make right now for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Can I have multiple players in my trade?
Yeah, why not?
All right. The 2 moves that I am making this deadline, and they're a lot. They're big, and I don't know if the Yankees can do it because the Yankees don't have a highly rated farm system. It's kind of the lower tier of baseball in terms of what it's ranked. So I don't even know if they have the capital to get it done. But because it's tough because Christian, I gotta be honest, I don't know if the Yankees can fill all these holes. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can. But that's not what you asked me. So I don't know if this is ultimately realistic. I'm putting that out right now. But if I can make 2 moves, I can push 2 buttons. I'm calling up the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm bringing in the best player available this trade deadline. Guy has 31 home runs. He's got, what's his OPS? An 889 OPS. I'm calling up the Arizona Diamondbacks and I'm saying, look, give me Eugenio Suarez. He basically said during the All-Star game, can I be a Yankee? And he said, whatever. You guys know what he said. I'm saying, let me get Eugenio Suarez, and I'm bringing back Zach Gallen. He's last three years he had elite stuff, and I'm trusting Matt Blake can fix it. I'm saying, look, bring me in Suarez, bring me in Zach Gallen. You're not getting Spencer Jones. I don't know why you're trying to put the Yankee tax on me. That's ridiculous. You guys beat us in 01. It's not like I beat you. Bring me in Eugenio Suarez. I'm plugging him at third base. I'm putting Zach Gallen in my rotation. Then I'm calling up the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm saying, look, I want Bednar and I want Dennis Santana. I don't care what I have to give up. I want both of them, and I'm making that move. I don't think the Yankees can make both those 2 moves, but if I was the GM, those would be the 2 first moves I'd want to make. But I don't know if they can because that's going to be a ton to give up.
Yeah, I think that's, well, I don't know about 2 guys from the Pirates, but even if it was just 1, I think that's very doable. I just don't even know if we need Zach Gallen. I don't think it would really work.
Okay, what about you? Your 2 moves.
This isn't my move, but I'm just saying I got really caught up on that Royals guy, Michael Garcia.
Ooh. Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess the whole Yankee drama, like, he doesn't really get talked about because I mean they probably wouldn't do that. But I did get a little
What's
caught
his
up on him.
age?
I think he was like high 20s. I mean it was
What's
pretty. He's having a really good season.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a utility. Like you play. What's his? He's only 25 though. Yeah, like I don't think
How
that
many
could
years of
happen.
control?
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Um. Yeah, no, he's not a free.
Yeah, so
he's
you
going to
could
be
cross
part of
him
the
out.
Royals next core. Yeah.
Christian, he's just made the All Star this year at 25. He's making the league minimum too.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
and he's not a free agent until 2030. But anyways, uh, he was my pick. I just got all caught up on him. It would be for me, Eugenio Suarez and Chris Bubick, and in terms of relievers, go find a nobody and make him somebody. We've
yeah.
seen the Yankees
I
do it
think that's
before, and I trust them enough to do it again. I don't think you need, and they already went out and spent big, or not spent big, but traded big for. Well, it wasn't even that big, but they already went out and got Devin Williams. Like that's one of the top relievers in baseball. You don't really need to spend that much money or trade that many prospects for relievers. They're just not as valuable. The one thing I'm gonna say right now, Ryan, is if the Yankees are not walking out of the trade deadline with a quality starting pitcher, I don't even know what I'm going to say. Like, if we were to get a starting pitcher and a reliever, and then we still leave the third base hole, it'd be like, oh, come on. I mean, what are we doing? But I could live with that. And I still think we would have a shot to compete. If they don't get a starting pitcher, Ryan, it's going to be so bad. And I can already picture who's going to be making starts in the postseason, and we're not going to like it. It's going to be really, really, really bad. And we're also already like planning on everything to go perfectly. God forbid an injury happened. Yankees need to get a starting pitcher, so I don't care who that is, but Chris Bubick, whatever, someone.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with you. I think the Yankees need a starting pitcher as well. I very well could see what you said the Yankees doing, finding a reliever and making him someone, making a nobody a
Yeah.
somebody. Because look, I've said it like 5 times in the stream. The Yankees have a lot of holes they need to fill. I don't think they could fill all of them in this deadline. First of all, the deadline's super weak class, right? It's really weak. You don't have a lot of big time players on the move. You don't have a lot of players on the moves in general, right? And you have like 4 things you need to fix. I think you might have to pick. You might have to pick. You might have to pick 2 spots and say, all right, well, we'll have to live with the other one. And when you think about it, third base and starting pitching, look, you can't really find one of those in house, but reliever, you could maybe find someone else
Yeah.
elsewhere for cheap.
Yeah.
So maybe you could do that. Maybe you go out, get a starter, and get a third baseman, and then the relievers you kind of do something else. But I don't know, because then I spin that back the other way, and bullpen I think is the biggest hole in the team. So because that's gonna be the problem in October. Like, guys don't pitch 6-7 innings in October. If you don't get relievers, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. Especially if a guy like Weaver doesn't figure it out, and we don't know what we're gonna get out of Devin Williams.
Yeah,
So,
but bullpen also goes longer too. Like it in the regular season, obviously it's not great blowing games, but if you get into the postseason, I mean, look at it, like what the Indians or the then Indians did with Andrew Miller. If you have 1-2 relievers that are hot during the postseason, you can get like 3 innings out of them per game, or I should combine 3 innings.
But Christian, I said this early on in the season because the Yankees were going to their bullpen so much because they didn't have a starting rotation. The bullpen's gassed right now. So you got to be expecting those guys to be ready and rested. Like, there's no guarantee. I mean, that happens with bullpens all the time. The wheels come off down the stretch. And the Yankees bullpen has been used heavily this year because they're rolling out Will Warren, Carlos Carrasco for it's been used a lot. And they got guys injured. So if that bullpen is going to be rested and well, yeah, that will work. But I don't think it will, to be honest with you. But who knows? Like, this is just getting into the whole conversation of how the Yankees have a lot of holes and, probably can't fill all of them. But I think when it comes down to it, my number one guy that I want, the number one guy I want is Eugenio Suarez. I think he's a slam dunk move for the Yankees. Certainly want to bring him in. I agree with you, Christian. I think they need a starter. I think they need help in the bullpen. But the thing is, Christian, the Yankees said, Brian Cashman said that they're all in. So I do expect the Yankees to make a flurry of moves, even if they're not the biggest names this offseason. Maybe it's an IKF and maybe it's a big man reliever. Who knows? I don't know if the Yankees are going to add the best player available at each position. But Christian, I'll tell you right now, the Yankees are going to make a flurry of moves this trade deadline.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for listening, guys. And if you didn't hear already, we're going to be live during. I don't know if we're going to go live again before it, but we'll be live the whole trade deadline day, like 1 to 6
Absolutely.
o'clock. So
let's go win 28.